So we will be discussing about this Mappila revolt in the perspective of history, right? This is important for us with respect to a prelims bit in history, or we can expect some questions in prelims. So, and there are also some events that are associated with this Mappila revolt. So we need to be knowing all those. So with respect to prelims and mains perspective, we'll try to analyze what is this Mappila revolt, right? So why this year particularly is that this year is the 100th year of this Mappila revolt. This is a revolt that happened in Kerala. So this is the centenary, the 100th year of this 1921 Mappila revolt, right? So that's why it's important for us. And also this was in the news because as it is 100th year, there were some attempts to make a movie out of this revolt in Kerala, and they were facing some resistance to take a film on this revolt. That's why also this was in news. This was creating a controversy. So for that also we need to know about this. And also there is a personality called Variam Kun Ahmad Haji. Variam, Variam Kunnath, Variam Kun Ahmad Haji. Now this is a person who played a really crucial role in this 1921 revolt, right? So this name is also in news for various reasons. So we need to know all this. What are these people, right? So starting with Mappila revolt. So this revolt also has two other names. It's also known as Moplah rebellion. Moplah, M-O-P-L-A-H. Moplah rebellion. Right? This is also known as Moplah rebellion, and also it's also known as Malabar rebellion. Right? It's known as Moplah rebellion. It's known as Malabar rebellion, and also it's known as Mappila revolt. All the three names are about the same event, right? And this happened in the Malabar region of Kerala, right? So that also we have to know. So what was the story and what happened in 1921? To know about that event, we need to go to the times of Hyder Ali, right? We need to go to the times of Hyder Ali. Now about this Hyder Ali, you will be discussing in detail in your history classes, but to speak roughly, Hyder Ali is father of Tipu Sultan, right? Tipu Sultan you might have known, he is the Mysore kingdom Sultan. So Hyder Ali is the father of Tipu Sultan, right? So these people, the Hyder Ali, used to rule the Mysore kingdom. Now Malabar is a small territory nearby to this Mysore, right? So previously in this Malabar region, we used to have landlords and tenants, right? Right now as we have landlords and tenants, during that time also, like in 18th century also, we had landlords and tenants in the Malabar region. Landlords means those who own the land. Tenant farmers means those who cultivate the land. They don't have the ownership of the land. They just cultivate the land and give the revenue to the landlords, and some revenue they'll keep with them, right? These are the tenant farmers. So landlords and tenant farmers were there at that time in Malabar region. So tenant farmers in this Malabar region were mostly these Moplah people. These were Muslims, right? So this Moplah community was majority of the tenant farmers were this Moplah people. On the other hand, who were the landlords? They happened to be mostly from Hindu-based society, right? They were Hindus. And in particular, the community is Nambuduri Brahmins, right? This is the community, Nambuduri Brahmins. So these were majorly the landlords in that Malabar region. They were the people who were owning the land. So in this way, hierarchy was there between Hindu landlords and Muslim tenant farmers, right? So this was the scenario. Then Hyder Ali has invaded this Malabar region in the year 1765. Right? In the year 1765, Hyder Ali invaded, that means attacked this Malabar region. Now when Hyder Ali invaded this Malabar region, I'll give you the notes, just note down the important points. So when Hyder Ali invaded this Malabar region, the Moplahs, who were the tenant farmers there and who were in majority there, they extended their support to the Hyder Ali, right? The Moplahs, who were Muslims, they extended their support to Hyder Ali, right? Even Hyder Ali was a sultan, so he was invading the Malabar region. Now, as these Moplas have extended their support to Hyder Ali could capture this Malabar region, right? And from then onwards, even during the time of Hyder Ali and also during the time of Tippu Sultan, Moplas enjoyed a better socio-economic status. Previously, they were just tenant farmers. But once these sultans captured the Malabar region, they gave better status to these Moplas, right? Ownership rights on the lands were given to the Moplas, the Muslims. So in this way, Moplas benefited because of the Sultan's rule. And during this time, when it was under the Sultan's rule, this Malabar region, Hindu landlords have fled from the Malabar region. That means they ran away from the Malabar region because there were persecution on these Hindu people, and also persecution means killings, right? There were killings on these Hindu landlords, and also there were forced conversions. Under the rule of Hyder Ali and Tippu Sultan, there is evidence that there was forced conversions, religious conversions, right, of these Hindu landlords from Hinduism to Muslim, right? So because of this persecution of Hindu landlords and forced conversions, Hindu landlords have moved away from this Malabar region. And Moplas, who are the Muslim community, became the landlords in this Malabar region. Previously, they were tenant farmers. So in this way, they got better socio-economic status, right? So this was fine. But in the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, so there happened a war between Tippu Sultan and the Britishers, right? So this was Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. So you will be discussing in detail about this Anglo-Mysore wars in your modern history classes. But as of now, you just know that these are wars between Tippu Sultan, Hyder Ali and the Britishers, right? So first war and second war, Hyder Ali has fought. Third and the fourth, Tippu Sultan has fought. So Fourth Anglo-Mysore War is the last war where Tippu Sultan was defeated by the Britishers, right? So Tippu Sultan was defeated by the Britishers. So what happened because of this? As a result, Malabar region came to the hands of Britishers, right? Till now it was under the hands of Tippu Sultan and Moplas were happy with better status. Now it got transferred from Tippu Sultan to the Britishers as they have won the war. Now here came the problem. What did the Britishers do? The Britishers, they gave back the ownership rights on the land to the Hindu landlords again, right? They gave back the land ownership rights to the Hindu landlords again. And again, these Moplas were made tenant farmers. So this was the first thing that was done by Britishers, right? The Moplas were again converted back to tenant farmers. They lost their land ownership rights. And those ownership rights were given to the landlords. And the second thing the Britishers did was, they have implemented very harsh land revenue policies, right? Very harsh land revenue policies. As we know, there was so much of looting by the British people from all the sections of society in our country, right, at that time. So as a part of that, they have implemented very harsh land revenue policies. That means these Moplas who are there, the cultivators, they will be cultivating the land, they will be generating some revenue. Out of that, almost the entire revenue was going to the Hindu landlords and the Britishers. The Moplas were left with no money. In this way, economic exploitation of these Mopla peasants was done. Peasants means farmers, right? So economic exploitation of Mopla peasants was done. So these were the two reasons why the Moplas were unhappy. One is land ownership was transferred from the Moplas to back to the Hindu landlords. And second thing is economic exploitation of these Mopla peasants by harsh land revenue policies of the British, right? Now, because of this, peasant riots have started, right? Peasant riots, peasant revolts have started in this Malabar region between Hindu landlords and these Muslim peasants, right? The Moplas who were not happy with this economic exploitation, they started revolts, right? So this was basically an agrarian revolt, right? A revolt where the farmers were not happy with the revenue policies of the Britishers. That's why they have done this revolt, right? So this is an agrarian revolt basically. So these revolts were happening from 1896 onwards till 1921, right? Now something happened in this 1921 which increased the intensity of this revolt.
So those two events were Khilafat movement and non-cooperation movement, right? So these two events also will be discussed in detail in modern history. But for now, to understand the story and details, just get to know that this Khilafat movement was a pan-India Muslim movement, right? This happened in 1921. Why did this happen? After First World War, there were two powers which were fighting in the World War, and Britishers have won. And there was an empire in Turkey called Ottoman Empire. They have lost. So Turkey came under the control of Britishers. But Turkey is one such country at that time where Muslims leader was the king there, right? He was known as Khalifa, the caliphate, right? So this caliphate lost his power at that time. So Muslims were not happy with this because their Muslims leader, he is considered as the leader for all the Sunni Muslims section, right? So he is the Muslim leader in Turkey. After First World War, as the British has won, it took over the control of that region, and that Muslim leader has lost its power. So Muslims in India were not happy with this. They want the Muslim leader to be given back his power in Turkey, right? For this, they have started this Khilafat movement, right? So this was a pan-India Muslim movement for their Muslim leader in Turkey, right? So this happened in 1921 in India. So this is one event. And this movement got support even from Mahatma Gandhi also, right? So this is one thing. Second event was non-cooperation movement. Now this was also an initiative of Mahatma Gandhi ji, right? So this was also happening in 1921. What is this? This was a movement basically for self-governance, full independence, and there happened a Jallianwala Bagh massacre before this, right? Many Indians were killed in a ground. They were literally shooted, right? And they were shot to death. So this tragic incident happened. Now because of these reasons, because of that Jallianwala Bagh massacre incident, for self-governance and for full independence, Mahatma Gandhi ji has launched a movement called non-cooperation movement in 1921. So this increased the resistance against Britishers in the minds of the people, right? So this also was a pan-India movement. It extended to various parts of the country, and almost all the Indians, they got the awareness about economic exploitation of the Britishers, right? So they developed that hatred and aversion against the Britishers, right? After this movement. So these were the two things which influenced so much these Moplas, right? Now what happened? The first thing that happened was this Khilafat movement, as we have discussed, this is a pan-India Muslim movement, right? So Muslim leaders were mobilizing all the Muslims in India to come together to fight for this Khilafat movement. In this process, because of some speeches of Muslim leaders, the peasant revolts which were there in Malabar took a communal angle. Because of this Khilafat movement, because of some speeches by the Muslim leaders, the peasant revolts which we have discussed in the Malabar region, which was basically a normal revolt between peasants and the landlords, it converted into a communal issue, right? It started being seen as Muslim peasants versus Hindu landlords, right? So here came the problem. So when the communal angle was brought, there were some sections of this Mopla revolts, some sections of people in this Mopla revolts who started atrocities against Hindus, right? Regardless of caste, they started atrocities against the Hindus in the Malabar region, right? So there were persecutions on the Hindu people in this Malabar region. These started. And also there was persecution of British officials also, right? So because of this non-cooperation movement, this economic exploitation was exposed to all the people. So they were not happy with the economic exploitation of the British and their policies. So they persecuted Britishers and also they persecuted Hindus also, right? So this happened, and Khilafat movement and non-cooperation intensified this Mopla revolts in this way, right? A communal angle was brought, and also more awareness in the people led to persecution of Britishers also, right? These Moplas started persecuting Hindus and also Britishers. So this happened, and Variam Kun Ahmad Haji, this personality played a major role in this Mopla revolts, right? So it is on this personality a movie is being taken, is planning to be started now. So this was the revolt basically. So this was a peasant revolt which took communal angle because of some reasons which we have discussed. So finally the revolt was suppressed by the British in 1921, right? It was suppressed, right? The revolt was completely put off by the Britishers using force in 1921, right? So this is the overall revolt. So overall, now the controversy is there are two narratives about this revolt. First narrative is this revolt should be seen as resistance or revolt by the peasants towards the Britishers' economic exploitation. This is one way of looking at this Mopla rebellion, right? And if we see it through the dimension of non-cooperation movement, it is simply a revolt by the peasants, a revolt by the tenant farmers towards Britishers' economic exploitation. Now the other narrative or the other dimension is we can also see it as in a religious perspective, that it was a Muslim hatred against Hindus, because we can see Hindus have been persecuted. So on one side it is like resistance to Britishers' economic exploitation. On the other side it can also be seen as Muslim hatred against Hindus, right? Muslim peasants' hatred against Hindu landlords, persecution of Hindus. So communal angle is there, economic exploitation angle is also there. So this is overall about the Mappila revolt or the Malabar rebellion, right? So see, these are some dimensions which we have to know. Now, this is a news for various reasons. So we trying to be an administrator have to have a balanced opinion all the time, right? So we should not just simply be carried away by the communal ideology which is being written in the newspapers, that it is basically a revolt between Muslims and the Hindus. That is only one argument, right? So here we need to know one important point, that is important historical events always have multiple interpretations, right? So important historical events will always have multiple interpretations. There will be interpretations, means the way of understanding a historical event, right? There will be different ways in which a historical issue is told, right? For example, if we see this Mappila revolt, on one, like few sections of the people will say it is one of the nationalist movement which has to be remembered throughout the independence, right? Because the Mappila peasants have fought against the Britishers' economic policies. But we also have sections of people who say this is a communal issue where Muslims have persecuted Hindus, right? So we need to have a balanced approach all the time, and we need to keep this fact in our mind that historical events will have multiple interpretations, right? And also the other thing which we have to know is historical events will have multiple causes, right? Social causes will be there, social causes will be there, economic causes will be there, political causes also will be there, right? We can see this issue through divide and rule policy also. Britishers always wanted to instigate that communal card, right? Communal fights between Hindus and Muslims, so that unity is not there in the independence movement. So political reasons will be there, economic reasons will be there, which we have seen. It's basically an agrarian revolt against the economic policies, and social reasons also will be there, right? So in this way, any historical event will have social reasons, political reasons, and economic reasons, and also multiple interpretations, right? This we have to remember. And so this agrarian revolt, Mopla, which is simply an agrarian revolt, turned into a communal revolt later, right? So this is overall about Malabar revolt. And coming to movies, that are being directed and they getting resistance from the people and some attacks also on movie directors. In this context, we also should know that the significance of freedom of speech and expression. Article 19 1A, constitutionally speaking, Article 19 1A gives the right to freedom of speech and expression. Under this comes the print media, social media, films, movies, dramas, books. All these come under this freedom of speech and expression. Right? Every individual is free to express his views in our country. Right? So if we see in that dimension, there should not be any resistance to the creativity of the filmmakers. Right? They have the freedom to show what's running in their mind on the screens. But we should also not forget that fundamental rights come with reasonable restrictions. Fundamental rights are not absolute. Every fundamental right has reasonable restrictions as clauses. So fundamental rights should be seen in a comprehensive way, right? Reasonable restrictions should not be forgotten. For example, if we see this fundamental right of freedom of speech and expression under Article 19(1)(a), the reasonable restrictions, some of them are public order and incitement to offense, sovereignty of the nation, defamation, contempt of the court. In this way, various restrictions are there on Article 19(1)(a). Now, on these grounds, the fundamental right can be stopped also, right? So, fundamental right for freedom of speech and expression is not absolute. So, there should always be a balance between freedom of speech and expression and the reasonable restrictions also. Freedom of speech and expression is not absolute. If we see in this Article 19(1)(a), public order and incitement to offense. Now, any such speech or expression which can lead to disruptions in public order or incitement to offense should not be encouraged, right? But also, these grounds should not be used or misused to stop the creativity or the free speech of the individuals, right? That dimension is also there. So overall, if we see, there should be a balance between freedom of speech and expression and the reasonable restrictions, right? So in Main's perspective, in this way, we have to analyze this issue.